Hi, Zeus here. I've got a treat for you. I'm going to show you two different ways to beat two different configurations of global number one's base, and then I'm going to show you an attack by global number one beating a base very similar to his own. So often global number one makes a rear right corner base, and this particular configuration has 9 boosted ice statues and also an amplifier, a shock blaster, a laser beam, and a shield gem. And I'm going to show you how to beat this base. It's actually harder than it looks. Usually he's got a grappler, and that grappler or two grapplers pretty hard to beat, but this particular configuration is also actually really difficult. So first I'm going to land one Scorcher, one mech, and one boat of bombardiers on the far right, and I'm going to take out the 4 defenses that are there. And the goal is to not get my bombardiers killed by the laser beam while they're taking out those defenses. Now, if my bombardiers die, I can always do second wind when I land my Kavan and the rest of the troops, and I'll get that 1 or 2 bombardiers back. Now I flare to this mortar here on the far left edge because I really want to start my troops from that direction, and I throw down 2 shocks to shock the amplified shock launchers there because I don't want those amplified shock launchers to take out my laser rangers before they get deployed behind the Scorchers and the mechs. Now I'm continuing to shock the defenses in the middle that have high damage dealing ability because they're all amplified. And one of the problems here is, how do you get through all of that without losing all your troops? Unfortunately, I lost my Kavan early in this battle, so not going to be able to get any additional troops back, and I'm going to have to take this base out with just what I've got. Now at the moment I'm suppressing the laser, which is behind that global number one warships trophy, giant trophy. And by the way, on the replay I look back and I see that my Kavan actually got killed by the laser. So it's clearly, incredibly effective and something to be very cautious about. Now at this point, because there is no grappler, a shock on the shock launcher and boom cannon next to the HQ is going to help me to victory very quickly, because this is where a rear right corner base falls apart. When you've got a significant amount of laser rangers, all of which can reach through the remaining defenses, as you get down to this part of the base, which I would call the funnel, just sort of the point of the triangle, your damage dealing laser rangers are hitting every one of the defenses simultaneously, and the base falls apart very quickly. Alright, so that's a win, and global number one goes down with relatively moderate losses. Alright, now next I'm going to show you an attack by global number one on one of my task force team members, Bad Destiny. And it's a very innovative attack. Now don't forget that global number one is using only 3 boosted offense because he's got 9 boosted ice statues. So global number one lands 1 landing craft of mechs, 4 landing craft of bombardiers, and he's going to land a total of 3 landing craft of riflemen, but he puts down 1 in the beginning and then a second one now. He puts down a shock to suppress the grappler in the front, and meanwhile he barts out the rear grappler, and as soon as the front grappler's down, he retreats. And then he flares to the far right, he lands his last landing craft of riflemen, throws down a critter box to take out a shock mine, and his goal is to come up the right side with his remaining troops and take out the two Doom cannons that are there and the rocket launcher that was there. He's going to try to get to and suppress the shock launcher and the Doom cannon. And his goal is to get his bullet in front. And if he can get the bullet in front, which he's now succeeded in doing, he can hopefully distract the Doom cannon and the rocket launchers long enough to get his bombardiers in place to take out those defenses like the rocket launcher on the right rear that could decimate his bombardiers in just seconds if they have a free shot at them. He's got a couple of bombardiers going up the far right, taking out the defenses there, hoping to get to the shield gen. And now he's got the right side rocket launcher down, but the bullet dies, and he's got just enough time to take down the HQ with the remaining bombardiers. Great attack by Global Number 1. Okay, now I'm going to show you a different way of taking down a similar base to the one that Global Number 1 just took down. This is Global Number 1's version of that same base. Again, a rear grappler and a front grappler, and I'm going to boost 7 offensive statues, and hopefully I can take him down. When Global Number 1 has access to building a shield gen, this is the typical kind of base that he likes to build if he also has access to grapplers. And this particular configuration, he's got a laser just behind the HQ. And I loaded up 3 boats of Scorchers, 2 boats of mechs.
Later.
1 boat of Bombardiers, 2 boats of Laser Rangers. And now I'm going to look for the shock mines. And it's really important to identify and take out the shock mines that are on the right side, far right side, left side, and in the middle. And if you can clear those shock mines in the beginning, your attack is going to be much more successful than if you don't. So I throw down 1 artillery to clear the shock line on the right side, and a barrage to clear those 2 shock mines behind, and I throw down a critter box in the front to distract the grappler. Rather than using one of my precious shocks initially, I throw down a shock as the critters are clearing so that the grappler does not grab any of my Scorchers. Throw down 2 shocks, 1 on the right rocket launcher, 1 on the left rocket launcher, and I'm also capturing a boom cannon and a cannon in that same shock on both sides. And I'm just going through this base. Now, the grappler in the rear is capturing my Scorchers, so I threw down some smoke, and I threw down a critter box to trigger the shock mine that's there. And I've got all that under smoke in the rear. And as I'm progressing, I let the smoke clear, and I throw down a critter box on the far machine gun to distract that cannon so that it isn't taking down my troops. And this base is just beat badly. And I'm going to flare to the left side. As soon as that rocket launcher goes down, then nothing from his remaining defenses can get to my troops, and I don't need to take any additional troop losses. I trigger second wind 1 more time to get some troops, and I do the flare, and I pull all my troops away, and this base goes down, making it look easy. Now, this particular tribe cycle has a 50% reduction in gunboat energy usage for shock bombs, and that's the key to making this attack look easy. Obviously, if you have a lot fewer shocks, it's a lot more difficult to pull off this attack, but I consistently am able to do it the rest of the time. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give this video a like. It'll help us with the gods of the algorithm. And please subscribe to our channel. You'll get notice of additional videos when we publish them, if you haven't already. And thanks as always to Hercules for help with the video editing.